All right, I'm going to do a brief introduction. So, CII is the Center for Identity and Inclusion to they support underrepresented students and promote diversity and inclusive campus for all students, faculty, and staff. And then a part of the CII, we have AASS, so which is Soyan here, director of AASS, and then we are here to support the retention and success of Asian American Pacific Islander students, encourage students to become actively engaged in their learning experience, promote students' exploration of social identity, leadership, and professional development, and provide opportunity for networking. And here we are CASL, and we're umbrella of the AASS student organizations. And we're gonna go introduce, I am the vice president and I'm a junior. I am studying marketing and entrepreneurship, and I'll point it to Kathleen.
Hi everyone, thanks for joining us tonight. I am Kathleen. I'm a second year at CU Denver and I am majoring in public health and minoring in business fundamentals. And then I'll pass it on to Bomi.
Hello, I'm Bomi, historian, and I was majoring in architecture, but I am currently changing plans on that for now. Popcorn to Kathy.
Hi, everyone. Nice to see 83 people in the Zoom call tonight. I am a senior, so I'll be graduating this May in about a week and a half, and I'll be getting my bachelor's in biology with my minor in ethnic studies, and I serve as this year's chair of CASL. I'll popcorn over to Manharsh.
Hi, everyone. My name is Manharsh. I'm a first-year student, and currently I serve as the treasurer for CASL. I'm majoring in computer science, and I'll pass it on to Martin.
Hi, I'm Martin. I'm a fourth year. I'm majoring in biobiochemistry with a double minor in business fundamentals and chemistry. I don't know who's left. Did Kath go yet?
Not yet, but my name.
Yeah. Sorry.
I am the fourth year biology student with a minor in data science and psychology. I am currently the event planner of CASL. And let's see, I don't know who else I'm missing, but
I think that is all. Yep, we're good. Okay, so we're gonna move on to keynote speaker. So Manharsh, take it away.
Hi, everyone. Thank you all for joining us again. I'll be introducing a very special guest as our keynote speaker today, CU Denver's very own Vice Chancellor for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, Antonia Furias. Vice Chancellor Furias is someone who takes diversity, equity, and inclusion seriously, and with over 20 years of experience educating and elevating underrepresented students and advising academic and military leaders, we are honored to have him on here today. The theme for the keynote will be Rising Beyond the Horizons. So without further ado, Antonia Furias.
Thank you, Manharsh, for that great introduction. Makes me feel older than I usually feel, but I appreciate it. I appreciate being here today. It would be great if we were in person, but this is just as good. And I want you, wherever you are, right, in the States or in the world, I want you to make some noise where you are, especially when we get our graduates out there during the performances. That's what really graduation is all about, right? Is making some noise and releasing some of that energy that you've sort of been going through all these years to get to where you are. So good afternoon, colleagues, continuing students, prospective students, right? All those little brothers and sisters out there, cousins, nephews, nieces, right? Friends, family, and most of all, you, the graduates. And a big shout out also to our Anschutz graduates that I hear also from the farm department here as well, who today, you all mark an incredibly important marker in your lives, the lives of your families and the generations before you, those who struggled and sacrificed so that today could happen. Graduations are times for reflection and quite honestly also for anxiety, right? You ask those big questions like, where did the time go, right? Was it worth it, right? Do I really want to be an adult, right? And I want to thank the Council on Asian Student Leaders and Asian American Studies Services, Student Services, in particular my esteemed colleague, Soyan Bueno, who's a director for Asian American Student Services, without whom all of the planning and the love that goes into today's ceremony wouldn't happen. And it's not just the ceremony, right? This is just the end point of something that's gone on all year long and years before that process. So I really want to I want you to put your hands together wherever you are, right? And give a big shout out and big clap to our esteemed director for what she does day in and day out. So thank you so much, So-Young. So this year, student leaders decided on a wonderful theme: Rise Beyond the Horizon, a message of hope, resiliency, and empowerment. So what does that mean, right? What does it mean to rise beyond the horizon, right? And what does hope, resiliency, and empowerment mean in 2021, in the year of a pandemic, in the year of global instability, in the year of growing anti-Asian hate, right? Not just in the United States, but globally. Right? So rising beyond the horizon really evokes this powerful, powerful image, that of flight, right? And if you're nautically minded, right, more of a seagoing person, then in both cases, it's still you need a keen knowledge of navigation so that you understand that as storms arise, which they will, and when we've seen that this particular year, but we've seen this particularly in the AAPI community for hundreds of years here in this country, right? That when they hit our communities, both locally here in Colorado or nationwide, right, and they've hit extremely hard, right, with this resurgence of hate, violence, and murder. We have to sort of understand what is our base, right, and how do we navigate through this without forgetting those that have passed. So as anyone who has experienced flying or sailing will tell you, going it alone is a recipe for disaster, right, which is why mentorship matters. Be it from your fellow students, from staff, from faculty, community members, right? The truth be told, it's almost always a combination of all of those that get us through and to the finish line. So the concept of hope, right? For a generation, and I am so proud of this generation of students for the resiliency that you've sort of created, but most of all, the hope and the love, because you are embarking on the journey into a future that you refuse to allow fear to stop you. And just like the university is not the end of your educational journey, your next stop, whatever that might be, right? It might be grad school, it might be a job, might be a job you don't like, right? It might be volunteer work or just taking a pause, right? It's the next launch pad that gets you to the next level, right? And you're not going to get there alone. That I think if you've graduated or you're about to graduate, you understand it. That graduation, right, and community building is a team sport. This concept of resiliency, it's really powerful, right? And sometimes it gets misused. But what does it mean to be resilient in a country, right, that insists on keeping, one of us, right, and us as perpetual foreigners, right, regardless of the price paid in the toil and sacrifice of life, building the early transportation infrastructure, cultivating fields that nobody wanted, right, dying off in foreign lands, right, in foreign wars that we didn't start, all to somehow prove that we belong, when in fact, you've always belonged. And don't let anybody else tell you otherwise. And that's where we get to empowerment, which is an incredible word, right? It comes from coalition building and understanding that our struggles are interconnected. They always have been. And every time that people try to sort of wedge sort of issues that keep us apart, you have to understand that our histories are always interconnected. It requires dedicated commitment to telling the truth of our histories, right? The histories of exclusion, which far outweigh this new robe of inclusion that all of a sudden we're trying on in the last couple of years, right? Some would say 50 years, some say we haven't even really started. It requires a rigor in scholarship, which I'm so grateful, right, for my background and my early years in college in ethnic studies. That's where I got my chops about understanding the world. I was pretty dumb and pretty just like lost, right, in terms of like eating up propaganda about who we were and who we weren't, right? Singing songs that I learned in kindergarten, right, about 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue, right? All these myths that get fed to us. But ethnic studies really opened my mind. And it was those classes that provided sort of a solid base for me to understand that I belonged, and I belonged just as much as everybody else, right? And that we couldn't belong in separate silos. We needed to work together. I still remember as an undergrad, and this is going back quite some time, but I walked into a 400-person lecture hall. It was packed, absolutely packed to the rafters, right? And being in awe. This was my first ethnic studies class. It was an Asian American studies class, and it was run by Professor Ron Takaki. And if you don't know who Ron Takaki is, you got to pick up his book, Iron Cages, which is so foundational to understanding how race, and particularly the AAPI community, form into that. And he introduced himself. I remember he got up on that giant stage, right, like a rock star, which he is and it was, right? And he introduced himself. He said, "Hi, I'm Ron Takaki, and I am one badass Asian brother." And I was like, okay, I got to listen and I got to stay in this game, right? Called ethnic studies. So you're fortunate here at CEU Denver that we have a powerful ethnic studies program that is in the process of becoming a department. But what I learned in Professor Takaki's class was more than just the history. It was really understanding that our histories are all tied together, right? And that we can't separate each other out. That without Filipino American farm workers, we would never have had the United Farm Workers Union. That the civil rights movement led by Cesar Chavez wouldn't have existed, right? I had Michael Omi, right, and Elaine Kim, Dr. Omi and Dr. Kim also, who were foundational to deepening my understanding of race in the United States and the critical role that Asian Americans played in the fight for all of our civil rights. So I started today by asking those questions, right, that might be popping through your head, like, where did the time go? I ask myself that all the time, right? I was like, just yesterday I was 20 years old and now I'm like 55 and I have to wear glasses in order to see the world, right? And was it worth it? And do I really want to be an adult? Which I think my wife asks in my state all the time. And the answer to all three of those is yes, yes, and yes. So I leave you with a quote from Seneca, ancient sort of Stoic philosopher, who said, "Life is short and anxious for those that forget the past, neglect the present, and fear the future." I feel really confident about the future of not just the state of Colorado, but the United States of America and the world, because we are putting it in your hands. And with you in your hands as graduates who are going to lead us, I'm incredibly confident that we will have the hope, the resiliency, and the empowerment. So thank you for allowing me a brief moment of time to be part of your celebration, which is our celebration. And I look forward to seeing you. At some point, you're all going to come back. And that's one thing you should know. You graduate now, but you will always be part of Lynx Nation. And you will always be part of our family. And you will always have a piece of our hearts with you. So thank you, and thank you. And congratulations, graduates.
Thank you so much for that powerful speech, Antonio. And I hope you guys can take away some of the key points from his speech. And right now we're going to continue with Kathy introducing our performer, Edwina Mabin.
Hi, everyone. I have the privilege of introducing our first performance of the night. It'll actually be a live Zoom performance. And Edwina Mabin, she is a graduating senior, and she actually has been composing music, and that's her dream and goal to continue doing so. And she has successfully been performing at our CASL AASS celebrations even pre-COVID. And so I'm really delighted to announce her tonight to perform for us one last time, as it is also her last semester here at CU Denver. Edwina has a song or two to share tonight with us all. And so Edwina, if you'd like to introduce yourself and say hi to everyone and tell us what you're performing tonight.
Cool. Yeah. Hey, everyone. Also, just a fair quick warning. I'm playing my guitar at my desk, so if you hear like a clonk at any point, I'm fine. It's just me hitting my desk with my guitar. But yeah, I'm so excited that I get to still kind of share a song as we celebrate all our graduates. For the last 2 years that I've been playing this, it's been fun imagining getting to that point, and to actually get to play as a graduating senior this year means a whole lot. And yeah, the song I will be sharing is called Go Tell Yesterday. This is a song that I think really fits even some of the themes that Antonio was just talking about, ideas of learning to hold the past in a way that will propel you forward instead of try to hold you back, or, I don't know, taint part of your future. So this is a song called Go Tell Yesterday. I hope you like it. I didn't sleep that much last night. I was dreaming a mile a minute. I forgot to close my eyes, and I saw a tomorrow full of change, brand new first times. But I woke up today with the sun in my face and a change of mind. So I follow the way of the lights and I let them guide me through the dark. When I felt messed up, took bad decisions too far, I'd use them to tell my heart that if yesterday hurt me, tomorrow's gonna heal me, and I'm gonna be alright, alright, alright. If yesterday trapped me, tomorrow's gonna free me, and I'm gonna be alright, alright, alright. So go tell yesterday, ooh, sometimes I miss you more than I should have been. Oh, would it be like if distance didn't kill what could have been? But you always pushed me towards my dreams. I've been chasing them ever since. So I'll pack up good, hope you're proud of who I'm becoming. So I follow the way of the lights and I let them guide me through the dark. When I felt messed up, took bad decisions too far, I'd use them to tell my heart that if yesterday hurt me, tomorrow's gonna heal me, and I'm gonna be alright, alright, alright. If yesterday trapped me, tomorrow's gonna free me, and I'm gonna be alright, alright, alright. So go tell yesterday, ooh, cause if yesterday hurt me, tomorrow's gonna heal me, and I'm gonna be alright, alright, alright. If yesterday trapped me, tomorrow's gonna free me, and I'm gonna be alright, 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 alright. If yesterday hurt me, tomorrow's gonna heal me, and I'm gonna be alright, alright, alright. If yesterday trapped me, tomorrow's gonna free me, and I'm gonna be alright, alright, alright. So go tell yesterday, ooh, go tell yesterday, oh, go tell yesterday. Thank you so much again for having me.
Ooh, that was so beautiful. Oh my God. I hope everyone enjoys the performance. Right now, we will be honoring the graduates.
if any graduates want to speak right now, this would be the time to speak. Yeah. Since we had 87 of you all in here, we decided to put you all to get a chance to speak at the end. So if you would like to speak and I guess leave some words behind for the rest of the other graduates, feel free to speak right now.
All
Also,
right.
Dana.
something. This is Justin Masoyan.
Oh,
Oh, it's Justin.
I was like, your voice is really deep.
Yeah. Well, I just want to say thank you to Ms. Soyan for everything that you've done for me since the very beginning and helping me find my place at CU Denver and then helping me move on to CU Anschutz. So I really appreciate all that you've done for me and all the student leaders. Everyone's doing a really great job, especially during the pandemic. So I just want to say thank you for everyone. And we've come a long way.
Yes, we have.
Same here,
Thank
Tim.
you.
Yeah.
Right.
We're one of the first CASL members, so the tradition still continues 7 years later. So thank you all.
So we're gonna have our second performance. Kathleen Lee will be introducing that. Take it away, Kathleen.
All right, I have the pleasure of introducing our second performer of the night, Kimberly Ming. Kimberly is the founder of the Mixed Gen podcast, inspired by her own experience as a multicultural Chinese and Puerto Rican woman. Her ability to relate to a human experience that involves culture and difference is a unique gift as she helps others bring their story to life. In 2018, Kimberly was nominated for a regional Emmy Award for her work as a writer and performer of the #CelebrateHumanity campaign with 9 News. Kimberly's work has reached thousands of people worldwide, and her collaborations include working with TEDx, CUSA 9 News, Rocky Mountain PBS, and J-Love Calderon. The floor is yours, Kimberly.
All right. Hi, everyone. So great to be here. I am honored to be asked to share some poetry with you. In my experience, poetry is such a powerful force that I've used to just speak my truth and be able to share it with the world. And I hope that you can find some connection to some of my poetry. I'm going to share 2 pieces. The first one is called Model Minority, which in the API community, oftentimes that is obviously something that is a myth that we're told. And then the second one is something that I specifically wrote for you all and connects to just as you move along through your graduation. So, and this is one that obviously I no longer feel silence, but I definitely, when I wrote this and growing up, I never really felt like I had a voice or saw representation of me. So. Growing up, I learned that silence was the sound I was allowed to make. That invisible was the road to take. It's funny how they make certain lives seem more valuable than others. That there is even a they that I'm referring to that controlled my self-esteem, yet still not really sure who's sitting at that table, a table of decision makers and media image control. Don't even know what the table looks like, if it's round, a long rectangle made of cherry wood or maple wood, maybe even glass. I don't even know if there's a centerpiece in the middle, if there's wine for fine dine, if food consists of steak or pasta. You see, I wasn't at that table. I didn't even make it to the kitchen. I tried to cook bok choy and rice noodles, and they laughed at me, saying American does not look like me. They call us model minority. Do you think my silence is pretty? Is my invisible easy for you to swallow? Convinced we are everything but majority, even though we span across the world, you can find us anywhere. Our lives span across countries, ancient histories along the 7 seas. Our diversity is represented in our diverse looks. Despite we get told that we all look the same, Many don't know the weight of pain's capacity, how at times we bury it deep, don't riot, taught to be quiet, silent. Do not talk about the internal bleed, the rates of suicide because of pain locked inside, the pain we were taught to hide. I learned over time this silence is actually a form of violence. Asian American women having higher rates of self-hate. Growing up, I learned that silence was the sound I was allowed to make, that invisible was the road to take. But then I turned to my sister, turned to my mothers, turned to the earth, turned to ancestors. I turned to myself, turned to books on the shelf, warrior lessons, Shanghai girls, sacred women. I regained mental health, see clarity in who I can be, finally mentally free and proud to awake to me. I learned that my voice could resonate, self-worth was the path to take, and I am proud to awake to me. Thank you all. That's poem 1. And it's so strange. I can't hear you all, but I see the little claps and the thing. So thank you. Thank you. All right. Virtual performance, you could do a shout out in the chat. A lot of times in spoken word environments, you hear people clapping or whatever resonates. The snaps, I see some snaps in the chat. So thank you all for listening. And then the last poem that I will do, as I said, this is a new piece, and it really was inspired by being asked to speak here today with you all. And I was just thinking about the year of so many different things, and also in relation to Stop AAPI Hate and our communities and what that must feel like as students, the world of COVID and all these moving pieces. And so I thought of the power of visualizing has been something that has helped me with my personal life whenever, I'm either stuck in a place or in a transitional space, which you all are in as recent graduates, and it's visioning. And so this is called In the World That I Dream. In the world that I dream, more peace circles are funded than violent machines. In the world that I dream, I assist to facilitate the belief that each one of us share one another's humanity. In the world that I dream, our differences enhance us instead of creating calamity. You see, in the world that I dream, we are rooted in our beliefs so much so it dissolves the hate in people's spirit, that see difference and anger covers up the truth so much that they fear it. Fear change, fear pain, fear things not ever being the same system that has not served us all, the same system karma will cause to fall, the same system that locks jaws and hearts up in concrete walls, the same system will not serve us all. So change is truth, hard to face, deny it, deny Mother Nature's grace. We are erupting, uprooting the weeds. There is no I and we and me and team. There is no I and me and we and me and team. And when we see that connection, let freedom ring. Because in the world that I dream, more peace circles are funded than violent machines. In the world that I dream, I assist to facilitate the belief that each one of us share one another's humanity. In the world that I dream, our differences enhance us instead of creating calamity. You see, in the world that I dream, I am me, I am you, and you are me. In the world that I dream. Peace. Thank you all. Reflect on the world that you dream, and many great wishes to the future to come. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. Tell them about your podcast so that they can follow you.
Yeah, cool. So the podcast that I have, it's all about being mixed, because as in the description or in my bio, I'm Chinese and Puerto Rican. And a lot of those themes come out, and I do poetry in many different communities, but the podcast is called the Mixed Gen Podcast. So it stands for Mixed Generation. I just put in the chat because it's MIXD. So it's mixed without the E. Yeah, and that's me. And you can find me, Kimberly Ming is my, Insta tag. So hit me up anytime.
Thank you.